Hi, welcome to this video where I'm going to walk you through how to paint this lovely little pear. We achieve this kind of hyper-real style by doing it layer by layer. So each layer you do, you need to dry it off with the hairdryer and then go in with the next one. Let's get going. Okay, let's paint this pear. So I'm going to sketch it using my Pilot Frixion pen, as always, because it disappears with the heat, which is a great gift. So I'm going to sketch it loosely, freehand, just because I have sketched many pears over the years, and I'm not worried about it. But what I'm going to do is put the this outline for you on YouTube, so you can just trace it if you need to. We can take it from there. So let's just sketch on the shadow as well, because that's going to be quite an important part of our composition. There we are, that'll do. Right, nice and rough. So yeah, those lines will disappear, so fear not about those. So first things first, we need to see where the light is and we need to preserve it. So let's preserve it with some of this Winsor & Newton masking fluid. I use this all the time. It's great stuff. It absolutely stinks, but it does the trick. So let's just get the lid off. And if you don't know, top tip, I have this old bar of soap on hand, which I keep next to the desk, and just with a wet brush, just make sure your brush is completely coated in soap. You can either use a bar soap like this or liquid soap, doesn't matter, just make sure all the bristles are completely coated in it. Just going to get those big bubbles off. So I'm going in to my masking fluid. And I'm just going to paint on where those highlights are. So nice and simple. And that's it. I've used my good friend tonalvaluetool.com to put this image of the pear into it, and I've asked it to split it into 6 tonal values, which is where this black and white image comes from. It's really helpful, especially if you're a beginner, to try and help you, figure out where to put these layers of colour. So it breaks it down for you. You can see where the white is. You can see the next tonal value up, which is that kind of mid-grey, and then it increases as you get further to the left-hand side of the pear. It's really handy, and I'll walk you through exactly how I use those as we paint this together. Okay, so that's drying nicely there. It won't take very long. The window is open in my studio, so I'll be drying it in a jiffy. I'm going to swap to a slightly bigger brush, so we've got a size 8 round. Even bigger would be fine here, size 12 round would be fine. So, as always, what I like to do is work from light to dark. So I'm going to go with cadmium yellow. Let's make a mix of this kind of limey green, which is that pear colour. Cadmium yellow with a bit of ultramarine. This is French ultramarine, and that's these are all Winsor & Newton Professional. That's quite limey there. Yeah, That's a good kind of limey tone. I need to water it down. I don't want the first tone to be really dark, so working from light to dark. So let's get the first one on. Nice and quick. Let's not labour it. Great. Perfect. I'm also going to fill in the stem. Just because even though it's brown, there's a kind of luminosity coming through it, and the lime colour is going to be good to emphasise that. So I'm going to use the hairdryer to just blast this dry so we can speed along. My pen for my shadow has completely disappeared. I'm not going to worry about it. I know where it needs to go. Okay, let's do the next layer. So sticking with this lime, in fact I might add a tiny bit more ultramarine just to kind of increase the tone ever so slightly, because I'm doing the next tonal value now. So you can see it kind of curls around the top into there slightly, and then straight down the middle. And we can fill in the rest because we're building up tonal values on that side of the pear. Okay, we're also going to blur out this line because it's not a harsh line on the actual pear. So really clean brush, tap off the excess, really tap off the excess so it's like nearly dry, your brush, and just gently tease that edge. That's it. If you go in there with a really wet brush, you'll end up with a puddle on the other side, which, you know, it won't look terrible, but it'll look better without it. Most of the pen has gone now on mine, which, you know, I'm not unhappy about it. I think it's fine. So I've really amped up the green there now. We're going in with the darkest tone. So to amp up that green and make it darker, I've just added more ultramarine, more French ultramarine. So I'm just copying exactly as it is on that grayscale reference where that next tone is, and it's about there. That's it. Let's clean the brush off, dry it off. Tease that edge. If you're finding trying to tease the edge like that is not really working for you, you might just need a bit of practice with it. It is a bit of a a practiced art. But the drier your brush, the easier it'll be to get the right effect. Right, this is still looking a little bit on the flat side. I am going to take this mask of fluid off now, get my highlights back. But to stop it looking so flat, I'm going to add a colour called Transparent Gold Deep. And I wish I could tell you why this magical colour brings this pear to life, like the science behind it, but I don't know. But you'll see. It's just adding a glaze. I'm going to go around my white highlights. Don't be afraid to be liberal with the water. Now that has just given it an oomph, a good bit of life. I'm going to add some opera pink. Just here and there. That looks really intense, but I'm going to water it down. And watercolour dries 4 times lighter than when you first put it on, so yeah. Really nice. I'm going to soften the edges of these dry patches. I'm really pleased with that. So I'm going to add some pink to that stem. Again, purely for the luminosity it'll bring through. It isn't actually pink, but that's fine. Yeah, that'll make sense later. Now let's give that dry. Okay, let's get the first layer of the shadow down. I'm going to use Sepia. I'm going to mix the Sepia into that green. Give it again a greeny tone. And straight away, wet onto dry. Again, try not to use too many brush strokes here. But definitely intensifying the shadow closer to the pear. Just tidying up this bit here so it's a bit sharper. Let's add some of this sepia to the shadow side of our stem. Let's cast in a little shadow on the hump of the pear there as well. Okay, looking really good. I think we're almost there, and the last thing I want to do is just capture some of those little spots that are on the pear. So to do that, I'm going to take my slightly bigger brush. I'm going into the greeny colour. Doesn't matter if it's a bit darker. Drying out my brush to kind of absorb most of it, and then with the dry brush, I'm going to sweep over edges. Just caught some of those little dots, and then I'm going to go let's add some more. That's me done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.